What can be said about Nexomon Extinction? A monster catching game that tasks you to save the world? What about collecting them all so you can show off your awesome collection? Wanting to be the very best like no one ever was? Scratch that. Let's start again. Nexomon Extinction is a complete reimagining of the monster catching RPG genre like no one ever has. Can you catch, tame, and obtain monsters? Yes, over 380. Is there a story where you need to rise above and be better than the rest? Sure, but this story actually matters and is on a scale grander than those other monster catching games. What about endgame content? There is enough to keep you going for a while. Let's break this game down into 4 key segments. The graphics this game showcases are a beautiful, sharper, more vibrant version of the Game Boy Advance style Pokemon games. They added some current-gen flair with some fog and otherworldly atmospheric effects that just make this world seem alive. Lots of varied biomes throughout this vast world that keeps the game feeling fresh as you explore just around every corner. Speaking of this vast world, for the most part, the world opens up very early on, allowing you to form your own path as you explore. If you want to go somewhere else in order to find a new type of Nexomon, you are free to do so, which breaks up the experience from other monster catching games of everyone must follow this path in order to get the thing that allows you to progress. That brings me to my next point, the gameplay. This game does so much right that it is easy to overlook some of the things that could be added to make the experience a little more pleasant. Let me explain what I mean. There is no 8-way directional inputs for the character, just up, down, left, and right. Took me a while to get used to and had to play with the D-pad over the analog stick for a more comfortable movement. Now this wasn't a deal breaker for me, but something I think the player should be aware of. The gameplay loop is simple. Battle a Nexomon by attacking it to lower its health, capture it, and level it up to get stronger in order to progress against rivals and other baddies or tamers you may come across. While this seems to stay tried and true to the formula from other games in this genre, the developers decided to tweak the combat to change up what you're used to and perhaps how you played and approached those other games. While in combat, your Nexomon can only have up to 4 moves. Nothing new here. These moves, however, have a lot more details that you have to consider rather than just damage and accuracy. The moves have no PP or power points, which most Pokemon fans would be used to. Each Nexomon has a stamina bar, and each attack or ability you use will cost a certain amount of stamina. Here is where the strategy comes in. If you stack all high damaging moves, which cost let's say 20 stamina, your Nexomon will be depleted before a battle is over when facing a tamer who has multiple Nexomon. In addition to an accuracy percentage, which shows how likely the move is to hit, there is a speed stat for each ability which lets you know if your opponent will hit you first before your attack has a chance to hit. It is a good idea to have a variety of fast hitting and slow hitting moves in your repertoire so that you could choose to use a strong, slower move which causes the opponent to hit you first, then you go second to finish the first turn. Then after starting the second turn, your quicker move will go first, and then potentially stun, debuff, or flat out knock out your opponent before they can take their next turn. This helps change combat and causes you to think about the whole team you are using and not just 1 or 2 strong Nexomon. What happens if you deplete your stamina bar? Well, I'm glad you asked. You may choose any move, and if you do not have enough stamina, your Nexomon will be tired for a turn and will replenish 10 stamina points. There is no defend action, which I think would be helpful in future installments, allowing you to reduce incoming damage and recharge some stamina at any point during battle. I found that items in this game were crucial in long battles with multiple tamers or in a cave where Nexomon spawn at random. You will be out of stamina and low on health frequently, and you will need to utilize potions and ethers a lot, both in and out of battle, if you don't want to constantly be running back to get healed by a healing center. I found the best places to level up and try out new Nexomon abilities was to battle in grass near a healing center, so after a few battles you could run up, heal, and get back out there again, saving your potions and elixirs for more crucial areas that come up later in the game. The game's economy is a little slow to start. I had to grind battle after battle only to earn between 3 and 7 coins per wild battle and a bit more for tamer battles. When Nexo traps cost roughly 100 coins each, and you need to do 10 to 12 battles in order to purchase one, and your chances of catching a new Nexomon is roughly 20 to 30%, it can get downright frustrating. Let me get into the catch mechanics to explain why. A clever way to make the catching of these Nexomon into a minigame of its own is a very creative, thought-out system. When you open up your catching menu, there is a chart that shows the probability that you will successfully catch your Nexomon. How much damage you have done to the Nexomon will increase a percentage up to 20%. If there is a status effect like paralyzed or frozen, etc., they'll add another percentage. If you feed the Nexomon food, that will increase your chances via another bar, and the type of trap you use will increase the percentage further. Lastly, there is an other bar where you can collect specialty items which increases the chances of catching a certain type of Nexomon, grass type for example. When you add all of this up, you will see your total percentage, and then once you throw the trap, a quick time event, sort of a minigame, starts where you have 5 seconds to input the button combination. This is the only part that is lost on me. While this minigame is fun and engaging, rather than just watching a ball wiggle on the screen, you are actively trying to enter the combination to hopefully increase your chances further? There is no indication on whether entering the buttons quickly or not actually increases your chances at all. I always hope that each second remaining adds an additional percentage or more to your total, but there is no way of knowing, considering that if I threw a trap with, let's say, 72% chance of catching the monster, and I enter the combination successfully, and the Nexomon escapes, was that due to the percentage? Or vice versa, if I threw the trap, mess up the combination, and I still catch the Nexomon, the chance may not be affected at all to my success at this minigame, and there's no way of knowing, really. There's no indication whatsoever. Suffice it to say, I always participated in this minigame successfully in hopes that it did make a difference. There are elemental shards that you mine from mineral deposits scattered all over the world. These can be used to create cores, or small upgrades, which you can equip a total of 4 to each Nexomon that will boost stats like attack or defense, health, or even experience gain. I found this method much better than the IV system of Pokemon, where you need to catch multiple versions of the same monster in hopes you get the best stats. Here, all the Nexomon of the same species have the same base stats at each level, or so it seems. These cores allow you to further customize your favorites with better health or more stamina, for example, to either round out or increase its effectiveness in a specific area. For example, if you want to create a glass cannon archetype, just equip 4 level 3 attack boosting cores, increasing your damage total by an additional 36%. This made catching and playing my favorites a lot more viable than having to switch out for a Nexomon with a design I didn't like simply because it had superior stats. Every single Nexomon felt viable with this system, and I think it's a better direction for this game genre to go. The world seems to scale as your core team does, allowing you to always have a challenge and decent experience as you go along. Trying to outlevel the competition only works for a little while, as the tamers will get stronger with each subsequent battle, keeping you on your toes and allowing you to continuously have a greater source of income and experience instead of the plain wild encounters. I felt all the items had a purpose, and I used all of them throughout my almost 10-hour playthrough. So, what is the motivation of playing this game anyways? Well, to answer your question, let's dive into the story. Don't worry, no spoilers here. The game opens up with you choosing a character with a bunch of different options. Then, we get treated to a cutscene explaining the world of Nexomon.
Together, we have risen against every odd and hardship. This world is built over millennia of friendship, loyalty.
Yeah. Let's just jump ahead, shall we? You start off in an orphanage, and today is your day to start your journey on becoming a guild tamer. You are tasked to go catch your first Nexomon with a couple of your orphan friends? Let's call them rivals. They each choose a path, and you are now free to roam wherever you want to catch your Nexomon, while your feline sidekick Coco suggests you go north. There is some clever dialogue about wishing on a star, and a dragon crashes into the ground, and you are cast into a battle. A mysterious person speaks to you and tells you to choose a Nexomon to prepare for battle. After the battle, you are told to hide in a cave nearby. It's in this cave you find a ghost of a previous well-known tamer, and he gives you some traps and tells you to go catch some Nexomon of your own. There is a lot going on in this world, with a war that is literally tearing the world apart, and you find yourself on a journey to save it. I love the urgency of your journey and lots of plot twists that kept me hooked on the story until the very end. Another great aspect that this game does right is introduce side quests. Completely optional quests that net you rewards and provide some more context to the world and have some interesting comedic value to them. This is another reason that kept me wanting to explore off the beaten path in order to find secrets and places that are best not to be spoiled. The writers did a great job, both with some well-placed levity and breaking the fourth wall, knowing what a game is and subverting expectations. A job well done, and I think Pokemon can learn a thing or two with these side quests and trading mechanics. Once you finish the game, there are additional quests for you to complete that gives you some decent endgame content. The only thing I felt missing was some sort of multiplayer, being able to battle a friend to test out different team compositions and strategies. However, overall, there is so much content in this game that I quickly got over that aspect and enjoyed the game for what it was, a great single-player experience. Nexomon Extinction is awesome. A great, compelling story, beautiful graphics, and a fresh change to the monster-catching RPG genre that is really needing it. The writing is superb, and the side quests add so much more to an already full game experience. I highly recommend you pick this game up, as this is one game you don't want to sleep on, or lest it becomes extinct. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing to our channel. We'd love your support. You can also like the video and drop a comment below. If you click the thumbnail, you can watch some other game reviews we've done in the past. Thank you so much, fans, and as always, stay nerdy.